Opening and closing of a flower brace indicates what are the statements that we are going to write. It belongs to this if condition only. So if I wanted to use more than one variable in a single CIN statement, then we have to use this symbol wise. Only when the condition is true of that if part, we are going to execute one if else statement. If test condition 1 and test condition 2 both become true, then we are going to execute statement 1. Hello everybody, welcome to the first session on chapter 10, that is Control Statements. I am Rohini TS from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. So in the first session of this chapter, we are going to learn about the blueprint of this chapter. That means if you study this chapter, what is the possibility of marks that you are going to score in your examination. So if you look into this blueprint, you can see that here you are going to get one question from 1 mark and 2 questions from 5 marks. Major topics you can get here. So here, if you study this chapter called Control Statement, totally you are going to get 11 marks out of 2 questions. So you are going to get total 3 questions from this chapter. So 5 marks, 2 questions will be there, and 1 mark, 1 question will be there. So then what and all we are going to learn in this session? So I will be discussing regarding the introduction of this chapter. That means what is the use of control statement? What is the need of using this control statement? Along with that, there we have several types of control statements. So under that control statement types, I am going to discuss regarding this selection statement. So in this selection statements, we have if statement and we have if else statement, we have nested if statement. This is what the content that I am going to discuss in my today's session. So let me get into the session regarding this control statements. So before getting into this session's content and all, you just remember how we are going to communicate with a computer. So we are supposed to give some commands to the computer, then it will going to understand our instruction, then it will going to process the data and instruction that is given by the user. Then how we are going to give the commands? So when it comes to the computers and all, mainly we used to work with the software. Software is what? Set of instructions and set of programs mainly. Then what do you mean by that program? That program is a set of instruction, right? So that may comprises of n number of lines. So if I'm building or if you are implementing some of the projects, I can't say this, it can be happen only with the help of 10 to 15 lines of code. At that time, it may require more than number of lines of code in order to execute as a package of a software. So there will be a number of instruction, number of programs, number of statement, everything is required in order to build that. Then what if I don't have a control over all those statements? What if I don't have a manipulation or controlling capacity of all those statements? So in order to manipulate that or in order to control the set of instruction, we are going to have this control statements. So mainly this control statement will going to help us in order to alter. So in order to manipulate or in order to modify the content of a statements. So if something goes wrong, what must be the action to be taken? If this statement is executing, then what must be the action to be takes place in the computer system? That means what? We must have a control over the statement. We must have a control over the instruction. Then we are going to use this control statement for that purpose. So you can see that control statement is nothing but these are the statement, these are the set of statement. It can be what? Simple statement or a compound statement. So if it is a simple statement, I can say it as what? It may comprises of a single line of code. And if it is a compound statement, then I can say that it is a combination or a collection of one or more statements. That is what it can be any statement. It can be either single statement or a compound statement. So control statements are the statement that will going to alter main thing. So it will going to alter the sequence of flow of instruction, how the data is moving from one part of a computer to another part. If I am writing a program, so if you consider this as a complete program, how the data is flowing, how the data is streaming or moving from one place to another place. So then by making use of this control statement, we can modify or we can alter the flow of that instruction as per the requirements of a user. So I can't leave the computer in order to do the work as it requires. So we have to work with a computer system, or we have to give the instruction to the computer system as per our requirements. Okay, so in order to modify all those things, or if I wanted to alter all the sequence of flow of instruction, then this control statements will going to help out. Then what are the basic control statements we have in C++? It will going to support 3 basic control statements. So it includes selection statement, iteration statement, then we have a jump statement. So in each session we are going to learn about each type of a control statement. So now we got to know what is control statement and what are the 3 types of control statement, and all the 3 types are very important question for 5 marks. All the 3 types are important. It can be asked individually. Write about the selection statement, write about the iteration. So there we are going to have some of the subtopics under each statement. Then those are all the things which is too important for 5 mark question. So we'll see about this selection statement now. So if I wanted to select a particular action to be takes place based on some test condition, then we are going to use this selection statement. For example, if today is sunny, I'm just going to bring this umbrella. If today is rainy, I'm not going to have the ice cream. So that means what? Based on the test condition. So in our daily life, we are going to make several decisions. So that is what, based on some condition or based on some scenario, we are going to make some of the decision. So if I wanted to do that in a program, then we require this selection statement. So here this selection statement will going to allow us is nothing but what? Allowing the programmer. So in order to allow us to select a statement or a set of statement for execution which is based on some condition, what this program is letting us to do. So based on some condition, we are going to execute set of statement or a set of instruction. So if the condition holds good, if the condition is okay, then we are going to do something. If the condition is not okay, or if the condition is false, then we are going to do another action. So selection based on the condition, based on the scenario or a test condition, we are going to execute several set of statement. That statement is termed as what? Selection statement. And we have another name for this selection statement. It is also called as conditional statements. Why I'm supposed to call this as a conditional statement? Because based on some condition we are making a decision. So if the condition is right or true, then we are going to perform something. So if the condition is false, or if it is not holds good, then we are going to do something, or we are going to execute some other set of instruction. That is what we are making some selection. We are making that selection of a statements to be executed which is based on the condition. That's why it is also called as what? Conditional statements. Then what are the categories which comes under this selection statement? It will going to have 4 types. One is if statement, another one is if else statement, then nested if statement, and we have switch statement. So all the types are important, and we are going to learn each type along with the definition and syntax as well as the flowchart and small example program. So let me get into this if statement. So if, what do you mean by if? That means what? We are checking for the possibilities. What if not? What if it is, right? So that means we are making condition, like we are checking the condition. If this condition is okay, then we are going to execute several set of instruction. If the condition is not okay, we don't know what we are going to do. So we'll see about the if statement, what it will going to do exactly. So here, if statement is also called as simple if. So why we are specifying simple if? Because we also have if else. So that is one of the another type of selection statement. First is what? If statement. So why we require this if statement? If statement, it is also called as what? Simplest form of if statement. So we have if else, nested if, and we have else if ladder. So among all those things, this if statement is the simplest form of a if statement, and this statement is also called as one-way branching. I don't have any alternatives here. It is what? One-way branching. Okay, so if this condition is right, then I'm going to do this action, or we are going to execute that set of instruction. Otherwise, we won't do anything. That is what if statement is all about. One-way branching. There is no more alternatives. There is no such kind of things. So we have only one condition. If it is true, then only we are going to execute this part. Otherwise, we don't do anything other than the executing of a true part. So see here. This statement is used to decide whether a statement or a set of statements should be executed or not. So we are making a choice. We are based on the condition. We are executing several set of statements. So by making use of this if statement, we are checking, can I execute this several set of statements or not? Okay. So whether it needs to be executed or not. So we are not saying what if it is not right? But we are saying only whether I should execute this or not. Okay. So we'll see here. The decision is based on a condition which can be either evaluated as a true or false. So understand one thing, if it is true, then the condition become right. If the result is false of that test condition, that means the condition is not holds good. That is what true or false means here. True is nothing but 1 and false is 0. If the condition is true, then we are going to execute several set of statements. If the condition or if a test condition is false, we won't do anything. We will just move to the next line of a program. So we'll see the syntax will explain you. So yeah, syntax is important here. If test condition, so we are writing this test condition within the parenthesis that represents, we are writing the test condition within the parenthesis. Okay, so that test condition can be anything. That test condition can be anything, like it can be in expressions or any of the arithmetic expression. It can be any of the thing that can be happened with the test condition. For example, if it is expression, I can give a greater than b. So if it is a mathematical thing, I can consider is a is greater than or equal to 100. So the condition can be anything. Here, if is a keyword. Already we have learned about the keyword that has a specific meaning to the compiler. We can't change the word meaning is of this if. Okay, and we have opening and closing of a flower braces. So this indicates that it is like a boundary. So if you consider your home and house and all, so there will be a compound. What it indicates? So that compound indicates that what are the spaces which is reside within that compound, everything is belongs to that property. That is what here. Opening and closing of a flower brace indicates what are the statement that we are going to write. It belongs to this if condition only. Okay, this indicates opening and closing of a flower brace indicates several set of statement which is belongs to this if category only. So if is a keyword and we are checking, if in the sense we are checking, in order to check that I need a test condition. That is what we are writing, test condition within the parenthesis. If this test condition is true, if and only if it is true. If it is true, then only these statement. This can be what simple statement or a single statement or a compound statement. That number of statement can be anything. That is what the reason we have specified the statement as n. Okay, n number of statements can be written. So if the test condition is true, then we are going to execute this number of statement. If this condition is not true or if it is false, this condition or this number of statements won't execute. It will just come out of this loop and whatever the next line of code is there in the program, that will going to execute. This is what you have to remember within this if statement. Condition is true, then only set of statement will going to execute. Otherwise, it will move out of the loop and it will going to execute next statement of a program. Consider this is a program and here I have a if statement and condition statement is there, and this is the previous line of a program, this is the next line of a program. If this test condition is true, then whatever the statement is there in if statement, that will going to execute. If this condition become false, then it will leave this part and it will going to move the further statements of a program. Otherwise, it won't come out of this loop. Okay, this is what simple example. So you have to understand what is the if statement and its syntax. Now we'll see the flow chart. Flow chart is what? Whatever we have written as a syntax in the textual form. So we are converting this into pictorial format. That is what graphical representation of an algorithm is called as what? Flow chart. Then what is the flow chart of this if statement? Here you can see that if is a condition, if I am making some decision, if you are using this for the decision making, then which symbol we are going to use in a flow chart? That is what? Rhombus or a diamond symbol. So this indicates, this arrow indicates the previous line of a program. Okay, so we are not only writing the if statement in a single program. Before that, we have several lines of code in a program. That is what it is indicating as a arrow. That means it is connecting to the previous code of this program. So then we have a test condition. What is that? Is condition. I'm checking. I'm putting a question mark whether it is a true or false. If it is a true, then number of statement will going to be executed. If the condition become false, then it will going to execute the further lines of a program. So that is what we are doing here. Then it will going to check the condition. If the test condition is true, then only it will going to execute statement 1. That means whatever the number of statement is present there, then it will going to be executed. So we have one more alternative here. So this is for the true part. If the condition become true, then true part will going to execute. So what if the condition is not true? We are not saying this is not false. So we are saying if the condition does not satisfy, at that time it will come out of that loop and it will going to execute next statement of a program. You can see the connection here. So if the condition become false, it won't do anything with respect to the statements. Then it will come out of the loop and it will going to execute next statements of a program. So this is very, very important regarding the if statement. So now we'll see the program in order to make you understand the usage of this if statement. So here we have an example program. The program name is largest of two numbers. We are checking among those two numbers which is the largest one. For that we are writing a program with the help of this if statement. So here you can see that *include iostream.h and *include con.io.h or a conio.h. So what we are going to call this as? So this is considered as header file. This is considered as header file. So here *include iostream.h, IO that represent input and output stream, .h represents the header file. We are including this *include, that preprocessor directory is including the iostream.h header file as well as the con.io.h header file. Con.io represent console input output. So if you are using this clear screen and get ch, then we have to include this con.io.h. and if you are using input and output related things, what is that? Cout and cin in our program, then it is mandatory to have this iostream.h header file. This is common for most of the programs in the C++. So those two header files are important. Next, we have a void main where the actual execution of a program will going to get started with this void main function. So main is the name of a function. That parenthesis indicate it is a function and void is a return type. So that is represents the data type. It won't return anything. That's why we are using this void main where the actual execution of a program gets started from the void main. So no, understand one thing, you should not put semicolon here. So if we are putting semicolon over there, that indicates the termination itself. So we should not put semicolon in the function. So when I'm defining the function, we should not specify a semicolon over there. So again we have a opening and closing of flower braces. That means what? Whatever the statement that we are going to write within this opening and closing of a flower brace, everything is belong to this main function. So we'll see the program. What is the program is all about? In order to find the largest of two numbers. So let me consider this as one A and we have one more called B and I have one more variable called large. Okay, so I have three variables here, int a comma b comma large. I'm taking three variables which is of the data type integer. Okay, so that means I can give the value of a and b and large as a integer only. It won't accept any of the value other than the integer. So we are using clear screen. What is the use of this CLR SCR? That is the clear screen function. So if I wanted to erase the content or if I wanted to erase the output of a previous program, then I have to use this clear screen function. If I am using clear screen, then we have to use this con.io.h header file. Next we have a cout. So whatever the things within the double quotes, whatever you are going to write as a statement, everything will going to be displayed as a statement in the output screen. So in the output screen, everything will going to be displayed as a statement. Cout, enter the two numbers. I have to give the value of two numbers. I have to enter. That means in the cout statement, they are giving the instruction to enter the two numbers. So in the output screen, what it comes? Enter the two numbers. Okay, enter the two numbers. Then it will come to cin. Cin, it will going to wait for the value of A and B. So if I wanted to use more than one variable in a single Cin statement, then we have to use this symbol twice. Okay, so I can't take like this, A comma B. I should not take like this. Okay, this is a wrong usage. We have to use a cascading terminology or a methodology in order to follow this. So when it is blinking, I have to give a value. Let me consider 10 and 20. So here 10 belongs to A. So A value is 10 and B value is 20. Let me write here value of A is 10 and value of B is 20. What is the next we have? Large is equal to A. So is equal to we are using equal to. Okay, so whatever the value which is present right side, that will going to be copied to the left side. That is what we are making an assignment here. So large is equal to A. So what it indicates, whatever the value of A is there, that needs to be copied to large. So if you see here, large is what? Vacant. So now what is the value of A? So value of A is 10. That will going to be stored in this large. That will going to be stored in large. That is what the assignment is all about. Next main part, we have a if statement. So as I discussed, if is a keyword. Within that parenthesis, I have to write a condition. What is that condition here? If B is greater than large. What is the B value? We have a 20 is greater than. What is the large value? 10. Is 20 is greater than 10? Whether it is a true or false, it is true. If it is true, then it will going to execute next line. That is what? Large is equal to B. So what was the large value? Initially it was 10. Now I am copying the content of B to large. So instead of 10, it will going to have 20 now. So that is what the reason of assignment. Large is equal to B. I am checking which is largest among A and B. Whether A is largest, then I am going to call that as a largest. If B value is larger than the largest, that is what A value, then B will be the largest one. So large is equal to B. Content of B is going to be stored in the large. Next, see out largest number is. So it will going to be displayed on a screen. What is that? Largest number is. You can see here, I didn't put any double quotes. If it is not a double quote, if we are using a variable name in the cout statement within double quotes, then it will going to return the value which is resides in that variable. If we are using a variable name with the double quotes, then that will going to be considered as what? Statement. So here in the cout statement, I am using a variable name called large without double quotes. Then it will going to return the value which is reside in this variable. What is the value of large right now? The value of large is 20. So in the output screen, the largest number is 20. That is what it will going to give. So get CH and we are going to close the main function. So this is a simple program in order to understand the concept of if statement. So if this condition become false, then we are not going to initialize the B as a larger one. Then we are going to display the largest number as A itself. So that is what the scenario of this simple if statement. Okay, I hope you all understood with this program. Let me move to the next statement. That is what? If else statement. So here, if you consider the if statement or a simple if statement, there is one way branching. We don't have any alternatives. If the condition is true, then only I can execute several set of statement. But I didn't discuss about what if the condition is wrong or what if the condition is false. So, but in if else statement, we have alternatives. If the given test condition is true, then we are going to execute several set of statements. If the condition is false or if the condition is not holds good, then I can do something. That is what we are going to execute other set of statements. So that is the two-way branching. We have more than one option here. We have more than one alternatives. That is regarding this if else statement. So this structure helps to decide whether a set of statements should be executed or another set of statement should be executed. So consider here we have a test condition. If the condition becomes true, then we are going to take one path. If the condition becomes false, then we are going to take another path. That means there will be more than one option here. That is what it is also called as what? Two-way branching. Important question for 1 mark question. So which statement is also called as one-way branching and two-way branching? So if else statement is also called as two-way branching. Why? Because based on the test condition, we are making a possibility out of the condition. If the condition is true or if the condition is holds good, then we are going to execute several set of statement. What if the condition become false, or what if the condition is not holds good? Then we are going to execute other set of statement. Okay, so there will be a execution, and you have to understand one thing, it will going to execute either of two. It not going to execute both the statement. One alternative we have to choose. True, then this part. If false, then this part. We can't execute both the statement. That is regarding this if else statement. So here you can see the syntax important. So if test condition, here also we have a test condition. I have to test the condition. Then if it is true or false, then only I can make a decision. If test condition, if this condition is true, then statement 1 will going to execute. Statement 1 or a set of statement will going to execute. What if the condition is not true, or what if the condition become false? Then else part. Else is nothing but what? If the condition is false or if the condition is not holds good, then we are going to execute else part. Then statement 2 will going to execute. Understand one thing, if I am checking the condition, if the condition is true, statement 1 will going to execute. If the condition is false, statement 2 will going to execute. That is in the case of this if else statement. So here you can see the flow chart or a flow diagram of this if else condition. So here also we have a condition. So we have a two alternatives here. If the condition is true, I am checking is condition is true. So question mark, that indicates we are checking. Is the condition is true, then statement will going to be executed. What if the condition is not true, or what if the condition is false? Then statement 2 will going to execute. So it won't execute both the statement 1 and statement 2. Any of the one set of statement or set of instruction to be executed. Either statement 1 or a statement 2. So whether it will going to execute either statement 1 or a statement 2, it has to continue with the further steps or further statements of a program. That is what we are indicating here. So whether statement 1 is executing or a statement 2, at last it has to join to the next statement of a program. This is regarding what? If else statement. So we'll see the one program. So here already I have discussed regarding the header files. Next we have a main function where the actual execution of a program gets started, and here it indicates the opening of a main function. Then I have only one variable called age. Okay, what is the age? So here age is a variable which is of a data type integer. Let me consider this as a age. So next, clear screen. Whatever the previous content was there, everything was get erased or removed. Next, see out, enter the age. So I have to give the age. So we are checking if the condition is true, then set of statement will going to be executed. If the condition become false, then we are going to execute other set of statement. Okay, see out, enter the age. Enter the age. We are supposed to enter a age. Let me consider, I am going to give the age value as 10. Okay, so here we have a if condition. So let me write here, here we are going to give the age value as 10. Okay, here we have a if condition. If age is greater than 18, now I have to make a condition. Now I have to evaluate a condition. So what is the value of age? I have taken 10. 10 is greater than 18. Is 10 is greater than 18? Whether it is a true or false? It is false, because 10 is not greater than 18. It is lesser than 18. So at the time, this set of statement will not going to be executed. Why? Because this is a if part. If the condition become false, then which part needs to be executed? That is else part. So else part will going to execute. What is there in else part? So that is what? See out not. We are checking whether the given age person is what? An adult or not. If his age is what? Greater than 18, then we are going to consider them as an adult one. So otherwise they are going to just display not. So here what it will going to display? It will just going to display not. So this is what one scenario. So let me change the value now. I am going to take the age value as 20. So now the value of age is 20. Again I am going to check is age is greater than 18. So now is 20 is greater than 18. True or false? It is true. If it is true, then it will going to execute this statement. That is what we have in cout, that is adult. It will going to give the output as a adult and it won't execute this else part because the condition only becomes true. Then if the condition is true, then we won't execute this else part. We are just going to work with this true part or a if part. So get ch and closing of a main function. This is regarding what? If else statement. What we have next? That is what? Nested if statement. Nested if statement. What is this nested if is all about? So as the name indicates, nested if. If one statement comes under another if statement. If one if statement is enclosed another if statement, then we are going to call that as a nested if statement. So if the statement of an if statement is having another if statement, then such kind of statements will going to be termed as what? Nested if statement. One if statement is enclosed or it is having another if statement, then we are going to call that kind of statements as a nested if statement. And this nested if statement contains an if statement within another if statement. One if statement will going to have another if, that is what nested. So inside the if, another if will be there. So here we have two forms of a nested if statement. So we'll see the format one. So in this format one, first is if else if statement. If else if. So if else if. So we'll see what do you mean by this if else if. That means you can see that it is what multi-way branching. So you just consider yourself. So you are learning or you are working with your 10th standards. So after that, you are going to have a dream of joining to particular colleges. So if I am going to score this much, then I will join this college. If I am not going to score that much, then I will join another college. That means we are checking for the alternatives. So if I am getting 90% or if I am getting greater than 90%, then I am going to join X college. So if I am getting the value or the percentage which is 80 to 90, then I am going to join a college called Y. So if I am getting percentage called 70 to 79, at that time I am going to join a college called Z. So if I am not at all satisfying all these conditions, just think I got only 60%. At that time by default I am going to join another college called ABC. So that is what if else if. We are checking the condition. If this condition is true, then this statement. If this condition is true, then this statement. So if this condition is true, then it won't come further. So if you got a seat in X college, then you won't come for the Y college. So if you got a seat in Y college, you won't come for the Z and ABC. That is what is this if else if statement is all about. So we'll see here. This structure will going to help the programmer to decide the execution of a statement from multiple alternatives, that is mainly based on a condition. So there will be more than one condition to be tested. We are not only checking for a single condition. It is not a simple if. We are having if else if. Multi-way branching. We have what? Several options here. So if I am not getting this college, no problem. I will go and check in another college. So if not, then I will come to another college. That is what more than one alternative is there. Based on some condition, we are going to check all those alternatives. So this is also called as what? Else if ladder. It is like what? Ladder. So if I am not getting the seat in first college, then I will move to the second one. Then if not, then I will come to the next. So that is what? Ladder. One by one, step by step. So we'll see the syntax and example of this if else if statement. So here you can see the syntax. If test condition 1. So already we know that it will going to have more than one test condition. That is what we are specifying 1, 2, 3. Okay. So here if test condition 1. If this test condition 1 becomes true, then statement 1 will going to execute. What if the test condition 1 is false? If the test condition 1 is become false, then it will come to the next statement, that is what? Else if, or we are going to call that as a elif also. Okay. Else if test condition true. We are going to check the second test condition. If the test condition 2 is true, then statement 2 is going to execute. Otherwise, it will come to the next one and it is also going to have number of else if statement. Then it will going to have a test condition 3. If this becomes true, then statement 3 will going to execute. So it will going to have multiple number of test condition. So understand one thing, if the test condition 1 becomes true, then all these things will not get executed, because if I am getting a seat in the first college, then I won't come for the next colleges. That is what the scenario here. If test condition 1 is true, then statement will going to execute. If not only, then it will come for the next option. So if all the test condition become false, then we have a default statement. That is what we have a else part. So here also we are going to check for the n number of test condition. Then it will going to have a n number of statements. So if none of the test condition is true or all the test condition become false, then it will going to execute a else part. That is what default statement. So if I am not going to get a seat in any other college, then I have one more options. I will quit the education, or else I am just going to join in the college which I deserve. That is what. So I have a number of list of colleges in my bucket. So we are checking that. So if none of the college is matching, or if none of the condition is satisfying, at last we have one default statement. So if you take an example of hotel and all, if you are ordering for dosa, if they say no, then you will go with some other menu. So if not, at last we have one default menu. So that is what the scenario you can take as an example for this if else if statement. So here you can see the example. Here we are checking. So we are having a condition regarding the marks. So based on the marks we are giving, or we are printing the whether student got distinction, first class, second class, either pass or fail. So we'll see the program. So if marks is greater than or equal to 85. So let me take the first scenario. I am going to give the marks as 40. Okay, what is the marks value that I am taking? I am taking a 40%. So if this 40 is greater than or equal to 85, no. So if this condition become false, then this will not going to execute. Then it will come to the next test condition. Else if is marks is greater than or equal to 60, again it is no. So if not, then this is also not going to execute. Again I will come for the next condition, that is what? Else if marks is greater than or equal to 50. True or false? This is also false again. Again I am not going to execute this statement. I will come to the next else if part. So here is marks is greater than or equal to 35, is 40 is greater than or equal to 35, true or false? It is true. If it is true, then it will going to print true part. That is what? Print pass. So what is the percentage, or what is the statement of this 40 marks? That is what? Pass. Okay. So if I am going to consider the marks as 20, so none of the condition will going to be true. At the time by default it will going to print the else part. That is what? Fail. Okay. So let me consider my marks as 90. Consider 95. Okay. So consider my marks as 95. At the time I will come and check here, is marks is greater than or equal to 85. What is the value I have given? 95. Is 95 is greater than or equal to 85, true or false? It is true. If it is true, then it will going to print distinction. Okay. Then it won't come further and it won't execute further statement of this if else ladder. It will just going to check the condition 1. If it is true, statement 1 will going to execute. If not only, then it will come for the next statement. Otherwise, it won't come further. It will just come out of the loop, and whatever the further statement of a program we have, that will going to be executed. Okay. This is one format. We'll see the flow chart of this if else if program. So here you can see the flow chart. Here also we have a test condition. If this test condition is true, statement 1 will going to execute. Only if the test condition 1 is true, statement 1 will going to execute. What if this test condition become false? Then it will come for the next condition. That is what? Test condition true. If this test condition 2 is true, then statement 2 will going to be executed. If the test condition 2 is false, then only it will move further for the next condition. So any of the condition is true, then it will going to execute the particular statement. If none of the condition is true, if all the condition become false, for example, condition 1 is false, condition 2 is false, condition n, that means how many number of statements we have, number of condition we have, everything is false, then it will going to execute default statement. It will going to execute default statement. Any of the statement will going to execute either statement 1, 2, 3 or n number of statement. At last, it has to move to the next statement of a program. That is what here we are indicating. Okay, this is format 1. What about format 2? We have one more format, that is if-else if statement. So nested if. One if contains another if, but the way of having that if inside another if is what? Different here. So here this structure contains if-else statement within another if-else statement. Already we know if condition is true, then if part, else part. This is what one if statement. What if else statement contains another if else statement? We'll see. Here you can see the syntax of if else if format 2. So one if else contains another if else. Okay. So observe it properly. If test condition. Mainly we have only if else. In the if the condition is true, when we are going to execute if part, only when the condition is true. Only when the condition is true of that if part, we are going to execute one if else statement. Okay. If the test condition 1 become false, then we are going to work with this else part. In the else part also I have if else statement. So let me discuss here. Be conscious, understand. If test condition 1. First condition, test condition needs to be true. If test condition 1 is true, then only I can enter to the if loop. Then only I can enter to the if part or a block of if. Consider now, if test condition 1 is true, then it will come to this block. So here you can see this as a nested if. So this is one nested if. Because one if else statement contains another if else statement. Okay, that is what we are going to call this as a nested if. We have a two nested if statement here because this is another nested if. So now you can have a clear picture. So if condition 1, if the condition 1 is true, this true part will going to execute. If the condition 1 is false, then is this else part will going to execute. So let me tell you, if test condition 1 is true, then it will come for the true part. Again it will check if test condition true. If both test condition 1 and test condition 2 become true, then statement 1 will going to execute. So you just recall the if else statement. How was the thing there? If the condition is true, statement 1, else statement 2. Here also we have two conditions. Test condition 1 is true, then only it can enter to the if statement. So if the test condition 2 is true, then statement 1 will going to execute. Another scenario, test condition 1 is true and test condition 2 is false. Then it will going to execute else part of this nested if. That is what? Statement 2. So consider test condition 1 is also false. If this is false, then it won't enter to this loop itself. If the test condition 1 is false, then it won't enter here. Then it will come to the else part. So in this else, it will check is test condition 3 is true or false. If the test condition 3 is true, then statement 3. If the test condition 3 is false, then statement 4. Okay. So let me write here to make you understand. Test condition 1 and test condition 2. If both are true, then which statement will going to be executed? That is what? Statement 1. Okay. Next scenario, we have a test condition 1. Test condition 1 is true, then I can enter to this one. But test condition 2 is false. At that time, which statement will going to execute? That is what? Statement 2. Okay. This is regarding to this one. Next, we have one more condition. If test condition 1 become false, consider this test condition 1 is only false. If this false, then it will come to the else part. At the time, we have to check the condition of test condition 3. At the time, test condition 3. If it is true, then it will going to execute statement 3. Okay. And test condition 1 is false and test condition 3 is false. So here test condition 3 is false, at that time it will going to execute statement 4. At that time it will going to execute statement 4. This is what nested if. Test condition 1 is true, then this if part will going to take place. So again we have a if else statement within that if else statement. So if this condition become false, then it will works for the else part. So in the else part also we have again if and else part here. We'll see the program here. This is to find a greatest of 3 numbers. I have a, B, C. We are checking whether A is greater, B is greater or C is greater. So understand this is also nested if. This is all nested if. Why? Because one if statement contains another if statement within it. So this is what true block of this if statement. Okay. If this condition become false, then we have a else part. In the else again I have a if else statement again. That is what another nest statement. Okay. So let me take a value for A, B and C. Consider 10, 20, 15. So if you just look into this, you can say this, which is the greatest among these 3, whether A, B or C. B is greatest, that is what it is holding 20. So we'll see whether we are going to get the same answer by this program. So if A is greater than B, what is the value? Value of A is 10 and value of B is 20. Is 10 is greater than 20? No, 10 is not greater than 20. So then this part will not going to execute. Okay, now you understand. This part will not going to execute because my test condition 1 become false. So here, if the test condition 1 become false, I can't go with the test condition 2. I have to go to test condition 3. So we'll see here. I have to come for else part. So in the else part, I have a condition if B is greater than C. Let me check what is the B value. 20 is greater than C value is 15. Is 20 is greater than 15? True or false? True. If this test condition 3 is true, test condition 1 false aito, test condition 3 is true, then which statement I need to execute? Statement 3. That is what? Output B. So you can make a match here. Statement 3 is what? Output B. Then which is the largest here? That is what? B. Okay. This is one scenario. So let me erase for all of you and let me take one more value. So let me take one more value here. A is equal to 25 and B is equal to 20 and C is equal to 28. So you can see that which is the greatest among all these 3. That is what? C. So we'll see the program. If A is greater than B, what is the value? 25 is greater than what? B. That is 20. Is 25 is greater than 20? Yes. It becomes true. If it is true, then it will comes to the if part. That is what? If A is greater than C. Let me check. 25 is the A value. Here, 25 is greater than what is the C value? I am taking 28. Is 25 is greater than 28? No. If this test condition 2 become false. If the test condition 2 become false, then statement 2 will going to execute. What is the statement 2 here? That is what? Output C. That means we got to know that value of C is greatest among all these 3. So let me erase again. Let me show you how the B value will going to be largest among these 3. We'll take one more value. A is equal to 20, B is equal to 12, C is equal to 10. Okay. This is my another example. First I have to check the first condition 1. So what is the A value? 20 is greater than B. What is the B value? 12. Is 20 is greater than 12? True. If this is true, then it will comes to the next one. That is what? A is greater than C. Again, A value is 20 and greater than. What is the C value? I have taken as a 10. Okay. Is 20 is greater than 10? True. That means test condition 1 and test condition 2 both become true. If it is become true, then statement 1 needs to be executed. What is the statement 1 here? That is what? Output A. So we got to know that A is the largest among all these 3. Okay. So this is how the if else if will going to work. So that means one if else statement having another if else statement. only main if condition become true. This test condition 1 become true, this true part will going to execute. If this test condition 1 become false, then this else part will going to execute. Again, when it comes to the else, again it will going to have if else. Okay, so this is what you have to understand regarding this if else if. That means one if else statement will going to have another if else statement. So we'll see the flow chart of this one. So here you can see the flow chart of format 2. So that is what, here I have a test condition 1. If this test condition 1 is true, then it will check for the test condition 2. If test condition 1 and test condition 2 both become true, then we are going to execute statement 1. What if the test condition 1 is false, or what if the test condition 1 is not true? Then it will come for the else part. This if is nothing but false, that related to else part itself. Again it will check for the condition 3. Okay, if the test condition 1 is false and test condition 3 is true, then statement 3 will going to execute. Test condition 1 is false, test condition 3 is also false, then statement 4 will going to be executed. And one more scenario we have, test condition 1 is true and test condition 2 is false. So 1 is true and 2 is false, then it will going to execute statement 2. That is what else part of another if else statement. Okay, so whatever, whether it is going to execute statement 1, 2, 3, 4, anything, at last it has to reach to the next statement of a further lines of a program. Okay, so all these are important for 5 marks question, along with a syntax, along with a flow chart, along with a small program you have to remember. Okay, this is regarding my today's session. In my next session we are going to continue with the same thing. That is what we are going to have a switch statement, which comes under selection statement itself. After that I have second control statement, that is what iteration statement. So in that iteration statement we have a while, do while, and we are going to make a comparison between this while and do while statement. Okay, so that will be the content of my next session. I hope you all understood with my today's session. Let me meet you in the next session with a continuation of this chapter itself. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.